Welcome everybody to episode 8 of Beyond the Cloud. I'm Natalie Gray, Head of Partnerships at Codurance. And as always, I'm joined today by Rob Gray, our Head of Sales.
Hello.
Hello, Rob. So let's just dive in. Today, we're going to talk about a phase called mobilise in the migration and modernisation journey. On our last episode, we talked about kind of the assess phase, kind of getting everything ready in terms of the business case, thinking about the discovery and, are we really in a right place to do this successful migration? So the next phase, as I say, is mobilise. And I just wonder, what does that mobilise phase mean? I guess, mobilisation is usually kind of getting your troops ready to kind of go into battle. So, mobilisation has got kind of lots of different meanings, but what does it mean in terms of a successful cloud migration modernisation, would you say?
I mean, you could use that as the definition is getting ready for battle. I'm sure for a lot of organizations, a cloud migration of any size is probably seen in that way. I'm sure the boardroom is turned into the war room many times as they're looking at it. And I think there's quite a fine line, I think, when you look at assess, which is around creating that business case. It's about looking at the organization's objectives from a business perspective and technology perspective, and why moving to the cloud is kind of organizationally or structurally good for them. And then when you move into that mobilize, exactly like you said, it's about readying the organization to make that move, to start that journey before you actually do that physical first migration of any work stream from where it is into the cloud. Is making sure that everyone is ready, everyone is aligned. There's that kind of comprehensive understanding of the plan across a number of different teams that are going to be affected or impacted or working on this to make sure, or really to minimize risk at every level. I think we tend to find a lot of organizations want to start, we almost see it as a bullseye type figure. So where you right in the middle, in the center, is your kind of business critical, mission critical applications. Experimenting, let's say, moving them to the cloud, first of all, is quite risky. So you want to start looking out at things that are not as business critical to your operations, relatively small in size, so you can start moving things quite simply and experimenting as to how does that shift into the cloud look like. And then as you start obviously gaining traction and understanding, and like we said, you've mobilized your workforce, you're looking at the processes of how it's going to work as well. I think one thing that a lot of organizations should be looking at is around automation. What parts of a migration is going to be automated and what part of it is going to be manually done. It depends then on, again, the conversation that we have with people of how adoptive of digital native services are you going to be from the get-go? And it's the classic conversation of let's lift and shift. Let's just move from A to B with minimal disruption, minimal adoption, and we'll have a look when we get there. So before you, let's say, press that red button to initiate your first move into the cloud, when you've initiated or mobilized the troops, as you say, it's making sure that everyone is aligned, everyone is prepared. The plan as such, so your migration plan, whatever that might look like, is fully understood and is fully agreed upon by everyone. And I think that, again, goes back into having a strong foundation from that assess phase, because it's so important. Again, if there are people that aren't aligned or don't understand, that's where you see cracks in any plan, and that's where you start to see complications through confusion.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess it's kind of important that when everything is being set up for a successful migration, that you are looking at all those sort of different pillars of being well architected, for instance. So, have you optimized everything as much as you can in terms of cost and security, your operations, sustainability? Like there's probably lots of sort of various areas that you can get ready and make sure are going to be successfully migrated and deployed, so that when you do that, as you say, when you press the button and get everything migrated, that everything is covered. And I guess that's also why our cloud partners offer funding to help offset some of that cost, because that can be almost like a double bubble situation where you're investing in, getting everything ready for the cloud, but you're still also investing in your sort of on-premises, or your, maybe it was on another cloud before. So I guess there's, it is a very kind of resource heavy time to be, thinking about things as a sort of head of IT in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the security side of it goes into everything organizations do at the minute. It's can be at the minute seen as a very vulnerable time for a lot of organizations. I think security is high up on a lot of people's priorities, as well as cost optimization and things like operational efficiencies. How do you continuously bring in efficiencies into the processes that your people and that your technologies abide by, making sure that the considerations are in place, that should things happen, as in not go well, because it does happen, not every migration is thoroughly thought out and is thoroughly kind of well executed, that there are remediation plans that are put in place for worst case scenarios as well. And a lot of it in IT is called disaster recovery, but are there those kind of fallback disaster recovery remediations in place should something go wrong? Should you be migrating one of your workloads, which is a business critical part to your business, and you have users which are working on it, etc.? What if something does go wrong? I think the mobilise phase is a good stage, again, as well as coming off the back of assess, to really look at the processes and the people and that remediation side as well. So again, before you move forwards into the next phase, which we'll talk about next time, which is the migrate, you're covered for kind of worst case scenario as well as best case scenario.
Yeah, I guess that's these days that's probably a lot easier to mitigate in terms of kind of observability tools, having access to data at your fingertips, and really, making sure that you're fully aware and you could observe any potential risks or vulnerabilities. So yeah, it sounds like mobilise includes a lot of different things to think about. I guess the next question, Rob, is what do people do if they're interested to find out more?
I think you can get in touch with us in a number of ways, obviously through our website, through hello@Codurance, through myself or yourself, Natalie's LinkedIn channels or emails. But there's a number, we spoke previously about the free cloud assessment that Codurance do. So if you are looking at moving into the cloud and you're, regardless of where you are with that, whether it's very much at the beginning of that assess, whether you've done the assess and you're at mobilise or you're partway through it, we're more than happy and have done a lot of times with organizations is to step in and try and understand where they are, what went wrong, and how we can help continue them on that journey in the right way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good luck everybody with your mobilise phase if you are at that point, and we look forward to talking to you next time on Beyond the Cloud.
Thank you.